My back. I literally finished running like 20 minutes ago. I did like a 2 mile run, and then like within the past like about 20 minutes, I have like this crazy back spasm that's not going away.
Oh, oof.
Uh,
Yeah, probably get better. Go
my
get a
life
massage or
is
something.
my life is falling apart. My body's falling apart. Everything's falling apart. So
Getting older.
I guess
Old
so.
age brings that.
I really wish I could just preserve my mind and just swap out bodies.
I think there was a
That's
Russian guy trying to do that.
well, it's when they deep freeze bodies and they chop off the head, and because they think that in like 300 years they'll have the technology to like put a mind into another body, attach a mind to a body, like it's what do you call it when cryogenics, right?
Yeah, I thought so. I thought with that though, once you like, well, I guess I could. No, I thought the cells kind of explode when you freeze them. So
Yeah, they crack when they get
yeah,
due to them being frozen, just like water cracks into crystals.
yeah. So I don't know how they would bring that back, but
Oh,
I
you
suppose
gotta
maybe nanotechnology or something. Who
Oh,
knows?
you got to replace the water in someone's body with some other solution that's anti crystallized.
So what you're saying is we really should be dehydrating these people, like beef jerky, and then in the future we'll and then freeze them, then rehydrate them later.
What I'm saying is, my understanding is the barrier for cryogenics in regards to preserving someone's mind so that you can implant it into another body, at least from 10 years ago of when I watched the documentary, is the fact that when you freeze a body, because a body is like 70% or 90% water, it's going to start the water with the fluids, which is water based in that body, will begin to crystallize due to low temperatures, hence ice, right? And that destroys molecular cells. And so what I'm saying is, and I have no background in anatomy or anything, is if that's the problem is crystallization of like molecular cells, then what 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 elements are known to crystallize, and let's see if we can swap out those elements or fluids for something that doesn't crystallize, if that's possible.
Yeah, maybe not in our lifetimes, probably.
So yeah, let's swap out uh the brain that is probably, I don't know, I would assume the brain is probably like 80% water. Let's swap out that water in the brain with ammonia or methane.
Alcohol. That's
Yeah.
what I try to do that every night, and it's not helping.
um, in other news, how do I say this? I try really hard not at work with the team that is assigned to me. It's like two juniors and then one senior. All right. The juniors obviously they know that they don't know. That's like the benefit. They know that they don't know, right?
Yeah,
I think there's a sample population of senior developers that believe that there's nothing that they don't know. And I'm running into that issue over and over again. And I try really hard not to assert myself as, listen, I am the architect. And not only am I the architect, but if you look at the org chart, I'm the architect and lead developer. I'm both of them. I work both capacities. I'm not just an architect, I'm the lead developer too. All right. Like, I'm trying not to say that because I don't think that's helpful to assert my title, but I feel like I'm being left no choice. I got into an hour and a half team discussion in which the only senior developer was debating me. You want to know what it's about? You understand the concept of a view model? And this developer is a star developer. Like he's known in Florida, and he's probably known on the internet. Okay, but he's an expert developer in mobile development.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's where it's scoped to. That's where it's limited to, right? And so this huge like debate, and it wasn't a debate because a debate means like you guys exchange ideas and it's give or take. No, I was winning the whole time. Like it wasn't a debate. It was teaching someone that doesn't want to acknowledge that they can be taught, right? There's always three sides to a story. So you understand the concept of a view model, okay?
Yeah, sure.
I have the hardest time convincing not just this person, but several people that if you put UI dependencies in the view model, such as, I don't know, page navigation, right? It's not unit testable. All right. Now, if this sounds familiar, it is familiar because you said, oh, well, you could provide an interface, right? This is what we said like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Okay.
Yeah.
They're not saying that. They're saying like, nah, you're going to have like Prism page navigation in your view model, or we're just going to call it Xamarin Forms like navigation in our view model. And I'm like, okay, you can do that. But what I'm telling you is it's not unit testable. And the reason why it's important to state that it's not unit testable because we're being hired to build this and then to deliver it to a separate organization to maintain. And that separate organization, they're going to be extending that application based on new business requirements as the business evolves. And they shouldn't have to be scared to add new features, or if there's a change in business requirements, modify features in the code base and be scared that there's going to be a ripple effect of breaking changes throughout the system. Okay, that's why unit testing is important and paramount. To have page navigation in the view model that has a UI dependency, even if it's an interface, Prism is a UI dependency. It is. It sits at the presentation layer. But they're not even talking about interfaces. They're just talking about, yeah, we're just going to use Xamarin Forms navigation. So when someone clicks this button, the XAML button exposes a property that is a command, right? That command is exposed on the view model as a property. So when you click the button on the XAML page, it's going to dispatch to the command on the view model. That command on the view model is going to have a method handler, and it's going to go ahead and execute whatever business logic. And at the end or at the beginning, it's going to also request page navigation, okay? The view model does not need to have a dependency on any type of user interface at all, because if it does, if we want to execute a regression suite of unit tests as part of the check-in process, then it's going to fail because the application has not been loaded into memory. What we loaded into memory was the business logic library, or DLL. Are you with me?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Okay, so I guess
I mean,
you have a
it's
rebuttal.
no, I mean, I think with an interface, it's mockable, so that's solvable. I guess we could argue about the value of having mocks, but
They're not talking about mocks.
yeah.
They're talking about literally taking a UI framework and embedding it into the view model.
Yeah, no. Yeah. No, I'm on total agreement there. The entire idea is to keep those things separate. Otherwise, why don't you just put in the code behind and call it a day?
So you know the feedback that I got from the senior like rockstar Xamarin developer? Oh, well, that's not MVVM. Or you mean to tell me that we should ignore MVVM principles? And I'm like, no, I'm not telling you that. What on? And then he's like, well, if you look at all the sample projects that Microsoft provides, this is the way it's done. And I'm like, and I'm telling you that those are sample projects. They're meant to be tutorials. They're meant to be accessible for learning. And at the top of each file within that sample project, they have a disclaimer saying, do not use this in production. It is not a best practice as much as you like to tell people it is. It's not. And so automatically my voice is changing and I'm becoming very like cynical and sarcastic, but it's involuntary because I'm starting to get frustrated that this person will not acknowledge that he doesn't know everything.
Yeah. Well, one of the easiest ways to probably fix it is be like, all right, you can do that, but you're going to write unit tests around it.
Yep.
And just leave it at that, because they'll have to come to their own conclusion then.
And I already did that. I already said in our acceptance criteria, you will write a unit test for initializing the view model. You will write a unit test for every single command that's exposed on that view model. All right. So no more acceptance criteria of write unit tests. No, F that. I already see what happens. People write unit tests that do absolutely nothing. You're going to write a unit test to initialize that view model. That view model may be loading in data or state, and you're going to write a unit test for every single command. That command may execute some business logic, and then it may also result in a page navigation. What I'm telling you is the view, if you're going to unit test that and you think that you can inject some third party or even like Xamarin Forms page navigation in the view model, you're going to understand that when the application is not loaded into memory, when executing a regression suite of tests for just the DLL that represents business logic, you're going to get a runtime exception. And it's like, I can't help but like automatically become sarcastic and start talking down to people because it's like I don't know how to reach them. And
Yeah.
the hardest part is here's the frustrating part. It's two junior developers. They're going to be learning bad habits from someone that thinks that they know everything and they can't be taught about things that they're doing wrong so that they can take corrective action. And so like it just breeds developers that have bad habits because they're taught bad habits from developers that think that they're doing everything right. And it's exhausting, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first thing is you probably got to start from the position that everybody there is trying to do their best according to what to do. Nobody's out to specifically be bad, and they obviously think that there's some value in the way that they are planning to do it. Like I said, the best thing you could do probably is to, if you've learned this lesson prior, is to try to recreate that learning for them.
Yep.
In which case, like I said, it's probably just as simple as being like, I want you to write unit tests around it and show me, because maybe there is another way. Maybe it will work without a runtime exception with that, and maybe you could avoid the abstractions.
Well, you can avoid the abstractions. You don't need a mock or interface. That creates two new files or two new like interface and then a concrete class behind the interface, which is a mock.
Yeah, you could use events
Right?
like you said before.
Yeah.
Yeah, which works too. It's just different ways to do the same thing, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it's possible that they can introduce a third way, but when I provided that platform for them to articulate what that third way is, he just started stuttering. He couldn't. He just hold on. This is a Xamarin Forms application. I'm like, I understand it's a Xamarin Forms application, but we're not building an application. We're building a business. The application is an implementation detail. Xamarin Forms is an implementation detail. Xamarin Forms is going to lose support in November. It's an implementation detail. Okay, technology is nothing but a detail and it changes over time. So does regulation. It gets revised over time. We're not building to the specs of a technology or current regulations or even current security protocols. We're building to the objectives of the business. And like I just keep going in. It's like it's not resonating with them. So
yeah, maybe you need a softer touch. If it's not working, you got to try something different.
I agree.
Buy them donuts or something.
I agree.
Here, junior developers, I'm going to buy you each a 6-pack of beer of your choice, but you're going to not use Xamarin Forms in the view model.
Yeah.
There you go. Catch more flies with honey.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And at that note, um, yeah, it sounds like this mastermind session is over. So I'm ending broadcast, and